Welcome to Vilnius in Lithuania, the self-described G-spot of Europe. Could be why it took me 35 years before I got here. Lithuania is the largest country in the Baltics by size and by population, with almost 3 million people. With a huge history of wars, getting taken over all the time. There's a lot to this place. There's also a little country within a country. Uzupis.
Wrong.
So I forgot what it's called. Uzupis? Uzupis. With their national day being April the 1st, it's hard to know what's serious about this nation, but they've had a president, a parliament, a national anthem, constitution, even an army.
This place is so crazy, I don't even need to make up any ridiculous facts. You'll find their constitution plastered all over one of these walls, translated into over 20 different languages. Even with a Duolingo subscription, I struggled getting through them all. On there you'll find some interesting laws though, such as everyone has the right to die, but it's not an obligation, and a dog has the right to be a dog. Another attraction nearby is the tap that pours beer. Every year on April 1st, this tap has beer flowing freely from it. Needless to say, there's going to be a big line. Searching around the rest of Uzupis, you'll find poetry etched into brick, a swing hanging under a bridge, and at least one sculpture that'll make you ask, is this genius, or has the cleaner not been through yet? Cafes here aren't just cafes, they're living rooms with better coffee and more paint splatters. Everyone's a philosopher, a painter, or at the very least, someone who's written a manifesto on a napkin. Uzupis isn't trying to impress you, it's just being unapologetically itself. Weird, whimsical, and weirdly wonderful. It was time to leave Uzupis, so I left the philosophers and artists behind. I crossed the bridge back into Vilnius, where a little bit of magic was waiting for me.
Every visitor to Vilnius gets one free wish. You just got to come stand on this tile, the miracle tile, and spin around.
You can wish for anything, so to make it easy for you to make my wish come true, I'll just leave this here in the corner.
It's the miracle tile and it's located in front of this thing, the cathedral.
The Vilnius Cathedral is massive, pale, and ancient. Just like your mum.
Now this is the Church of St. Anne. Rumour has it Napoleon, when he was here, he wanted to take it home with him to France in the palm of his hand. But a historian also told me that he hated Gothic architecture. Something to do with Batman?
St. Anne's was built around the year 1500 and it was made from over 30 different types of clay bricks, which gives it that intricate, fiery look. Despite surviving wars, invasions, and the passage of time, it's never been significantly altered. #NoFilter. Strikingly detailed, fiercely photogenic, and somehow still standing after 500 years of drama. St. Anne's is one church you can't miss if you're in Vilnius. I'm off to stretch my legs now. I'm going to go for a walk. I'm headed up to the Three Crosses Monument to try and find the best views in Vilnius. But of course you've got to earn it. With an unofficial count of 800 stairs to get to the top, you'll want to take something to keep yourself distracted from your burning thighs. My distraction of choice? A 360 camera and a selfie stick. At the top, you'll find the glorious Three Crosses Monument, standing tall and dramatic. Like a teacher at playtime, these crosses watch over the playground that is Vilnius, ensuring you never forget that you're being watched by an almighty power. While taking in the views, you'll be able to see the upper castle, which is just one hill over, and that's our next stop. But first, got to go back down the hill, and then up another hill. But at least on this hill you've got options. You can go by foot or by funicular. Up the stairs or in this little box on this skinny little rail. The choice is yours. Once you get to the top, you get some glorious views of the tower and the flag in the sun if you've timed it right. You can stand there and look at it for hours like this guy. From here you can get some pretty incredible panoramic views of the city. You can see where you've been, where you're going, and where to go for dinner. But if that's not enough, you can go into the castle, read about history and things, climb a few more stairs, and get onto the top where you can get some very similar panoramic views, just a little bit higher. It is a pretty nice spot up there. You can see everything, but you can also see everything from down the bottom of the tower. So if you want to save yourself a few euros, you don't need to go up there. Just watch this video again and you'll see everything. Blink and you might miss it, but Literature Street is one of Vilnius's most charming corners. Tucked just off the old town, this narrow lane is lined with over 200 plaques dedicated to writers connected to Lithuania, even if it is a made-up connection. It's part gallery, part tribute, so if you're into literature, this place is for you. Or if you're more into history and hearing about how bad humanity can be, head over to the Museum of Occupations and Freedom Fights, which also has the KGB cells in the basement. As you walk down the stairs into the cells, you'll notice the walls are thick, but the silence is thicker, broken only by the creak of a cell door or your own footsteps. The first cell you'll go into is the holding room where they would put you while they process your papers. You couldn't even yawn in here. These underground chambers once held prisoners of the Soviet regime, and every cold, concrete corner whispers stories of resistance, surveillance, and suffering. It's not an easy visit, but it's an essential one. There's 19 rooms that are open that you can walk through. So this is a post-war cell. We'd have 15 to 20 people in here. At least they're allowed to have some posters up. The rooms continue on. You'll walk through a VIP room with beds and cupboard space. A room acknowledging the Nazi period and the Holocaust. A solitary confinement cell. A punishment cell which was soundproofed and covered in thick padded walls. The shower room in which inmates were initially allowed to shower once a month, later increased to once a week. Then you'll follow the halls out to the exercise yard where you'd have room to stretch your legs the tiniest bit and at least see the sky for a few minutes. Then finally you head to the execution room, where over 1,000 people were executed. It's quite confronting in here, especially with the video playing a reenactment of how it happened. There's pictures of the skulls and people who were executed. And in the sand below is buried bits and pieces that were found on the corpses that were later dug up from the mass graves. Moving on, let's head somewhere a bit more pleasant. Vingis Park. The city's biggest park lies a couple of kilometres from Old Town. Locals love this spot for a walk, a run, or a rollerblade ski, or whatever that was. I didn't find this place from any of my half-assed research. I only knew about this because this is where the weekly park run is held. It's worth heading out there anyway for a peaceful walk, run, or rollerblade ski.
If you want to get out of Vilnius, get on any bus or any train. About half an hour, you'll be in Trakai. Nice little town, few shops, other town sort of things, and the castle on the lake. So yeah, any bus, any train, they all come here. Give it a go.
From Trakai railway station, it's about a half an hour walk along the lake to get to where the castle is. Along the way, you'll find some shops, some nice houses, and then on the lake, more shops, restaurants, souvenirs, of course, parks, boats, other floating implements, and then, of course, the highlight, the castle. Trakai Castle sits proudly in the middle of a lake like a medieval fever dream. Built in the 14th century by people who clearly said no thanks to easy building sites, it once housed Lithuania's Grand Dukes, royal archives, and Lithuanian nobleman Count Lecter and his son. The swans here are territorial, the water's weirdly hypnotic, and if you listen closely in the Great Hall, you can still hear the faint whisper of a court jester who was executed for his joke about knees just being leg elbows. It's a must-see. Well, that's my time in Vilnius done, so as I walk off into the sunset, please take a second to subscribe and comment and all that stuff. And I'll see you in Warsaw next.